if you guys want to figure this out. Like I said, what we're here to do today is discuss the basic breakdown of the current dating landscape, right? With that being said, I have to give my man a good intro. We have a special guest today. Today's guest is a military veteran and entrepreneur who has developed both physical and technical programs across multiple environments for many corporations. He brings high level execution focused mindset. Shaped by real world experience. He speaks very frankly and bluntly and is a breath of fresh air on the topics we are about to cover. His outlook on dating and relationships I found very interesting when we met a few weeks ago, and I decided to have him on the show. So I want all of you, when you guys get in the chat, to please welcome Mr. Glenn Jones. Now imagine the applause, people. Let me bring him in. How we
All
doing,
right,
Glenn?
all right. There he is.
Yes, sir. The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh shit. We got Black Adam.
Black Adam. What did you say your name was again? White. What'd
Well,
you call it? White.
if you're Black Adam, I might as well be a white firecracker or something. I
There
mean,
we
I
go.
feel left out. I got to have a nickname.
There we go. We got White Firecracker in the chat, people. Shout out to White Firecracker. I wish I had the applause, man. My bad on the sound effects. Normally I have them, but the way I'm doing this stream right now, I couldn't bring the sound effects. I was
That's
going to play
right.
them on my other computer, but I was like, man, you know what? I'm doing too much and I'm taking too long. We were supposed to be in here at 6:30. We were 30 minutes late. My bad on technical difficulties. I apologize, everybody. But but like I said, I brought this guy here today in all honesty because he inspired me when I saw him, when I met him. The way that he speaks, he's very intellectual. He knows what he's talking about. He's not afraid to say what he wants to say, what's on his mind. I felt like the youth, me coming up as a youngin, I wasn't raised in necessarily a bad environment like I had my dad, but I was influenced by negative things going on in said environment. So I felt like we should bring this guy on because he speaks the real. He says stuff that people need to hear. Go ahead, Glenn. Do you have anything you want to say before we start?
Sure. I mean, some of this with your new program. I mean, most of us can remember Kevin Samuels kicked off his very successful podcast right around COVID. So, and then unfortunately he passed away. So many would agree, and I certainly do, that maybe his rating system on women was kind of brutal, and he took a lot of hits for that. Even people tried to shut him down, go into his background, going to try to discredit his college degree and creep into his finances, and they get pretty nasty with it. But if you take away his rating system on the scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself fresh out of the shower with no makeup on? If you take away that whole thing that he did and you just focus on the main message, as far as, men and women and dating and all of that other good stuff, he was on point. Now, a lot of men may not openly agree with that because they're going to take the fire from their wife or their girlfriend or anybody else. But I think, quietly and silently, most of us men probably would agree with a good, 75, 85% of the stuff that he brought to the table. So there's been a lot of people starting up manospheres and this and that and the other. And I think we can attribute most all of this to Kevin Samuels, that he was successful going so long because they couldn't take him down. I mean, he had a great verifiable reputation. This guy was not a loser where they can completely pull up a criminal record or pull up drug convictions or pull up all this stuff that he wasn't doing. And they tried and they couldn't get anything on him. So he was able to go for a long time and was very successful. But he inspired a lot of men, and a lot of even women have even started a women's version of this Kevin Samuels and Manosphere and so forth and so on. We had to be so quiet so long as men,
Yes, sir.
because if we speak up about the stuff that bothers us, spending the money, the whole dating thing, if we say anything, we're going to get shamed, insulted, guilty. We're not a real man, so we should keep our mouth shut, just continue to keep taking women on $500 dinners. And if
Yes,
we
sir.
can't afford that, well, then we shouldn't be dating, go climb in a cave somewhere. And that's just not the way that it is. In the meantime, you have these women that aren't even earning that. That's what's crazy.
Now,
So,
Glenn, before you continue,
you
Glenn,
got
I
a
got a couple
great
things I
point.
wanted to ask you. Yes, sir. I had a couple things I wanted to ask you. So, like I said, guys, today's core topic, right? What do men actually want today? So, like Glenn said, a lot of times we see, shout out to Call Her Daddy podcast. You guys, I'm sure you guys know about that podcast. We see women are allowed to they're allowed to speak about how they feel about certain topics, right? Whereas as a man, I feel like personally, and I say this and take this with a grain of salt, of course, I'm very performative when I speak. I see being a man in 2026 as a humiliation ritual because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you can never do enough. And if you don't do enough, like I said, you're in trouble. And then we have people who are enforcing this kind of behavior. And of course, the enforcement of said behavior, personally, I feel like we live in a gynocracy. With that being said, it's not on purpose, of course, protect all women, but the issue becomes when do we allow men to have a voice? When do we allow men to have a place? So, back in the day, men used to talk in the locker room. We used to talk about things that were going on. Hey, I like this girl. Hey, I want to talk to this girl. Hey, put me on with such and such, whoever, however, right? So nowadays, men are, at least personally, I feel men are in a position now where they're not even allowed to have friends, right? So majority of my friends, I know everybody's doing what they do, but there's categories to it. So for example, majority of my friends are married and they have kids. Shout out all of them. I don't have kids, and because of that, we don't speak no more. And I guess it's okay, but like I said, it is a bit weird. I mean, everybody's growing up, but it's certain things like that. Whereas men focus on whatever a woman's doing at all times. So our first point today that I wanted to tell you guys is, and we're going to break this down in further episodes, but the main thing, gentlemen, is put yourself first. At the end of the day, you got to put yourself first, because if you don't put yourself first, nobody's going to put you first. Now, like I said, Glenn, my first question to you is, why do you feel dating feels more confusing than ever in 2026?
Wow. Well, it actually took two different things. It seems like, before the Kevin Samuels thing, it was all confusing. At least us as men were confused because it seemed like we didn't have too much of a guidance on this whole dating thing. Anything that anybody who hasn't even heard about Kevin Samuels, I mean, his videos are still up. You can YouTube him. People have preserved them, and I mean, he's almost like the uncle that young men wish they had, to sit there and bring them under the arm and here's how you do things and here's the outlook and so forth and so on. But it was always confusing then, where we are made to feel like we're not doing enough. We should be going broke, just dating these people and buying bags and taking them out to Ruth Chris and Perry's and steak restaurants. When the females don't normally eat like that Monday through Friday, but when they're dating, suddenly they're supposed to have steak and shrimp and lobster 7 days a week, right? You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. Yes, sir.
When they're with their girlfriends, they're okay going to TGI Fridays. When you're out on a date, all of a sudden it has to be these big celebration dates. So there's this confusing thing like, what am I doing wrong as a man? Why am I having problems with all these females? What are they expecting? And then the females will play passive aggressive too, because a lot of them don't want to be outright and just say, give me money, buy me a bag, pay my rent. I mean, you might get 1 or 2 out of 10, but they're
Yes,
throwing these subliminals and you're wondering, why isn't it working out? Why am I getting the cold shoulder? Why am I getting ghosting? She's grooming you. She's grooming you. So then we didn't even see the grooming that was taking place, and what is it that we're supposed to be doing? Now the confusion, it seems to be on some of the females, because now you not only have the Kevin Samuel stuff, but then you had the Andrew Tate, and then you had all these other manosphere type things, and they're able to get on there and they're going, okay, I'm not being canceled. I can talk about all this stuff. Now, if you look on social media, there's a lot of women on there crying, and I don't mean disrespectful, but they are on there complaining and crying, and they're going, what's going on with all these men? Why are they no longer interested? Why do they not want to? I go into a club, no one's buying me a drink anymore. No one's asking me for my number anymore. I go to a gym, they don't even hit on it. Well, that's because you would video men looking at you in a gym and you call us all creeps. So now we're
yes,
scared to
sir.
approach you in the gym because you've sat there and trained us. Don't look at you in the gym, otherwise we're creeps. Don't
Yes,
approach
sir.
you in your car, walk into your car in a parking lot, because apparently we're a creep and a rapist at that point. I mean,
Yes,
how?
sir.
So now it's kind of with all these boundaries. We don't want to look like creeps, but we're supposed to still approach. We can't read minds, and they're setting these weird boundaries, but before it was very confusing because we were going about our way as we were kind of trained by prior girlfriends and dates how to act and how are we supposed to do things to win this girl over. And still it was like, man, I feel like I'm investing and I'm getting no payoff. I feel like this person is, I'm spending all this money and they seem like they're still not happy. What's going on? So it can be very troublesome and you start thinking that something's wrong with me, when in fact you start dating many and several, and you see a common thread in a lot of these women, and then you find out where they're getting this from: their grandma, their auntie, their mama. And if you look at that, even Samuel's put out, it's like most of these people, most of these women, they're listening to their grandma and their auntie and their whoever. Most of them are single.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir. All right. Another question, Glenn.
yeah, why are we listening to mama and auntie and grandma who are single about how to date men? Men, we are very simple. We are very simple. And I don't know if the women just don't get it or they like to act like they don't get it because we're so simplified on what we want. They just can't handle it. And they go, it's got to be something else. I mean, even Samuel said, it's pretty easy. It's the three S's. We want, we want sandwich, which means food.
Yeah.
We want sex.
Yes, sir.
We want
Fornication.
silence.
Yes, sir.
That's what we want: sandwich, sex, and silence. But
Yes,
see, if we
sir.
say that publicly, we're a creep. How dare
Oh,
you?
man.
Oh
All
my
right.
God. Wow. But that's really what it is. When we come home, we don't want a bunch of noise. We want to watch the game, we want to watch the show, this and that and the other. We'd like food on the table or something of that nature. You'd like, sex once in a while would be wonderful. That's really how we're wired. We don't need 15 different things. We don't need to go shopping. You don't need to buy us a bag. You don't need to buy us a wallet. We don't need perfume every day. We're really easy to understand. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Glenn, let me stop you right there. So a couple questions. So first things first, I want you, you
I'm
said
on
a
a
lot.
roll, baby.
Yeah, you said a lot. You said a lot in a little bit. So we got to slow it down. Let me slow it
You got
down
to
for
slow it
you.
down.
Yes, sir. Let me slow it down because we need people to soak up this game. So first things first, right? You were talking about what a man wants, the three S's. So I want you to explain to me. You're an older man, of course, because I have my own perspective. Of course,
Right.
everybody's perspective changes, but I'd rather you say your perspective since we brought you on the show. So my first question to you is, you talked about the three S's. So what do you think, in your opinion, is the male mindset, right? Like, what is the male mindset? What do we want as men? Uh, I guess you can bring up when you were younger. What did you want as a man as you got older? What changed over the course of time?
Right. One thing that I was born in the '70s, so that just to give you a little bit of touch on how old age group that I'm in. So, going through the '80s, I'm doing a lot of the towards the end of the '80s heavy duty dating all throughout the '90s, and then been in the military, so I'm dating any all kinds of stuff going on there and so forth. But it used to be in my memory of the late '80s and '90s. Again,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
younger, and so you're dealing with younger girls, so maybe their needs and wants are a little bit different than grown women, obviously. So we're trying to, compare apples to apples. But it seemed like to me, the girls were just cool with having fun with you, just being around you. You
Yes,
could
sir.
take them miniature golfing. A movie was fun. It wasn't seen as a low budget date. It was fun. It was, it was a 90-minute movie, popcorn, and then go home. It was, Chili's or whatever on the way to or there, just miniature golf, just being around. Hey, that was a fun date. Go get some shakes, go get whatever, and then see you later. And that was really fun. It was a really innocent type of situation. As time goes on, it's gone from movies and Chili's to now it has to be Ruth Chris and Perry's
Yep.
Steakhouse,
Yep.
and
Yep.
to, you're going to get me red bottom shoes and I got a car note that needs to be paid. And so this is brand new
Territory.
to me. I mean, like I'm experiencing, but this didn't occur in the '80s and in the '90s where women are almost making it transactional. And I don't know where they're getting it from that if you want to date them, where's the bag? Where's the steak and lobster? It's like, this is a date. We're not getting married. What's going on here? I'm
Question.
just trying to go out and have fun, a drink, miniature golf, and a movie.
Question, Glenn. So we're in uncharted territory. That's what we're calling it nowadays because majority of the things that
Yeah.
we've seen, yes, sir. Majority of the things that we've seen in the last 20 years were all created, right? The internet, the explosion of the internet,
Right.
dating apps, hookup
Yep.
dating. This wasn't normalized until recently, right? I'm in my 20s, of course, and now I'm putting my age out there. I'm 28, but I mean, I've seen a lot of these things coming up. Even when I was young, I seen certain things that were a bit odd, but besides the point. The question is, do you think it's because of the economy, the current state of affairs in the United States, that women are acting this way? Or do you feel like this is how they always wanted to be personally? And now that we have the liberation of women, in essence, this is why they're acting the way they act now.
I think the dating apps have made both women and men lazy daters. I think it has really diminished the impersonal communication.
Okay.
Both men and women, they like to send text messages. They like to, do stuff online, so that then when you get them on the phone or you're actually face to face at a restaurant, they're fucking silent
Oh yeah.
for the
Yeah, I've been
most
in that
part.
position.
They're
I've been in that position. Yeah, I've had a
Yeah,
couple
they're
chicks I take
silent.
out.
They feel awkward. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, they are socially awkward on an actual date. They are more comfortable. And then some of them will pick up their phone during the date. They got to go check their phone 7 times while they're even on a date. It's like, well, dude, you're on a date.
Yep.
What are you
Yep.
doing? But it seems like it's just made where if I don't like this person, I can swipe left, swipe right, or whatever, and move on. They're not even investing time to talk to this individual,
Yep.
and get to know them. It's almost like you're hiring people blindly and you're not even interviewing them anymore.
Yep.
And online would be the equivalent to, I guess, looking at a resume, but a resume is bullshit, and a lot of these online profiles are BS. I mean, this person 9 times out of 10, they don't look that way. That was a picture taken 5 years ago, been
Yes,
touched up.
sir.
They're
Yes,
not going
sir.
to tell you how rude they are, or how
Yeah.
inconsiderate they are. That's not going to be on a dating profile. You have to find that out in person. So
Very much so
that's
true.
really changed it with the internet type stuff, from going back to the 80s and 90s, that it has made people lazy daters. I mean, I'm not the best looking guy. I'm okay. I mean, I handle myself pretty well,
Yes, sir. Yes, same,
and,
same.
you know, uh, but you have to have a gift for gab.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's what a lot of these men are missing. That
Mhm.
they'll, throw up a little "How you doing?" on a Facebook. How you doing? I mean, that's their opening line. And "Hey, what you doing?" and "Good morning, beautiful." I mean, that's lazy. That's
True.
lazy. It takes time, almost like doing sales, when you see this girl at work or you see this girl at the store, and going up and getting the courage and laying the groundwork with the small talk and the "Hey, what's up?" and "How was your weekend?" and "Okay,
Yeah.
what'd you do this weekend?" and you start
Now,
laying.
Glenn, 1 second, not to interrupt you. Tell me, I'm gonna tell you how I approach a woman. How do you approach a woman? Well, I mean, how would you approach a woman if you were to approach a woman? I'll tell you what I do.
Well, I mean, I've gone both ways, from in person
Yes,
to,
sir.
in the past, looking through some of the dating apps.
Yes,
And
sir.
so I can tell everybody that's on a dating app, all of that is garbage. I would not recommend any dating apps whatsoever. So the approach now is just to go in person, because you're going to feel that electricity. You're going to feel the vibe. You're going to feel that lady's essence all around you. You feel it. And no, you don't want to be a stalker, but okay, great. Yeah, you might have to do what I call the shotgun approach, and you'll sit there and hit on 10 girls, and maybe you get one phone number. That's just, you have to pay the averages, like you're at the club, right? You'll ask 10 ladies for a phone number. One or two is going to give you the number. The rest are going to shoot you down. So, but you
Yes,
have to
sir.
approach. You have to approach. You have to approach. Dating app is garbage.
Okay,
So,
okay, okay. Okay, me personally, yeah, I mean, it all depends. Like I said, back when it's always crazy because I say back in the day, like I'm old. Shout out to my people. My people always put me around people that were older than me. So
right,
I kind of act as if I'm old in my head. But back in my day, right? Back in my day, I would be like, I have more control over my hormones. But man, back in the day, I used to be so crazy. Like I couldn't control myself. Like if a woman was beautiful, like I would have to approach her. I'm very bold too.
right,
Very bold, yeah. So I would approach a woman and be like, "Hey, how you doing? I just want to tell you, fine, regardless if you like me. I want to get to know you. Take you out sometime." And it would be right
right,
there. She'd give me a look. I give her a look. All right, you
right.
like me? All right, cool. I like you too. All right, let's get to know each other. Straight like that. But I'm
Exactly.
bold, and there's different ways. And another thing, gentlemen, I'll tell you too. It's tough because you'll listen to some of these what do we call them, pickup artists, right? You'll hear dating coaches and pickup artists tell you, oh, you gotta look at the choosing signals. I mean, what it comes down to is if a woman is interested in you, she'll make herself available to you.
Right,
She'll speak to you. Majority of the time, if a woman's not into you, she wouldn't even see you. Like she wouldn't
right.
even see you walking by. She wouldn't say hi. She wouldn't even acknowledge you. And I mean, that's the cold hard truth. Like I said, I am a bit blunt, but yeah, that's how I would do it. And now in today's day and age, I mean, I'm so focused on what I'm trying to do with my money, and that's the whole thing with men now too, because we understand the current state of affairs when it comes to the economy. We're not even focused on women as much anymore, like we are, but we can't sit there and waste all the time that we had, because we have to build ourselves. And
Right.
that's my next point too, gentlemen. Another thing you have to do that I didn't do, I'm still in my 20s, but I didn't do until up until recently, was take what I'm doing serious. Like, even when you guys see me doing this now, I'm starting to take it serious. I've gotten older mentally. I understand I was wasting time chasing women, and it's not bad to chase women, but you have responsibilities as a man. And shout out to the younger generation, that finds their way to my page. You guys have responsibilities that you have to handle first before you do any of that. Then you
Right.
can come out into the dating game once you're
Right.
handling your responsibilities. You have a savings, you're making good money, but you got to handle those things first before you jump into the dating game trying to date these girls, because your pockets are going to run dry. And then when you run dry, that's why we have a lot of men, they're sitting there mad now, like, hey, why am I losing my money? And then you're turning around and blaming your girlfriend when it's in fact your fault because you didn't have your stuff together, and you're putting it on the woman, and you should be putting it on yourself. So that's
Yep.
just something to keep in mind too.
Right. Well,
Yes, sir.
and also the guys, you know, like don't get discouraged if you don't have a lot of money, guys. You also don't need to be a baller to date, and because then you're putting it off, and you're waiting, and let me get my life together, let me get my life together. It's like, no, there's a female out there for each and every one of us, and some of them will appreciate the fact that it doesn't matter. You drive a trash truck, you work at a movie theater, you're a police officer, you're an electrician. It doesn't matter. And simple dates, some of them, that's what they like. They're not all women out there need to be taken to Ruth Chris, and Perry's, like you said, and just go up and approach these women. You're gonna get a lot of no's, just like sales selling cars. You're gonna get a lot of no's. So you're not after the no's, you're after the yeses, and you'll just have to weed through 5 or 6 or 7 no's, and you'll finally get a yes. Yeah, you're gonna hear women say, "I am married. I have a boyfriend. Sorry, thank you." And some of that's going to be true. Some of that maybe no, they're just deflecting you nicely and so forth. But work on your game. I can tell you that corny ass stupid jokes and what's a girl like you doing in a place like that? That stuff's a turn off to women. It just seems like it's in me. Every woman has already always told me, they said, what I liked about you is because you kept it real. You didn't come up
Sir.
with any type of game. You didn't have any stupid line. You
Yes,
just
sir.
kept it real. Hey, what's going on? What's your name? I mean, treat it like I don't know, a networking event. Hey,
Yes,
what's your
sir.
name? Oh, my name's Lisa. Hey, Lisa, I'm Glenn. How are you? Okay, so how you like it here? Okay, wonderful. Boom, you're talking.
Yeah, but catch the
You're
vibe.
talking.
You got to
No
catch the
flashing
vibe.
word.
You got to
Huh?
catch the vibe. I said you got to catch the vibe.
You
Younger
got to catch
generation,
the vibe.
you got to
Yeah,
catch the
you want to
vibe.
stick
Yes, sir.
around when you also then it gets into these deeper things of if she ain't vibing you and you're sticking around, now you look like an idiot. So you
And
got to
look,
watch.
so look, Glenn, let me give him some game. Yeah, so it's like I said. So you catch the vibe. When you catch the vibe, you can tell when a woman's not into you. And I mean, if you can't tell, it could go over your head. That's cool too. But if she acts like, oh, it's icky to speak to you, or it's this thing, like I said, end it on a positive note. Hit them with a yeah, my name is such and such. It was nice to meet you. Hit them with a fist bump, shake their hand, or don't, and
Right.
keep it moving. Yeah, keep it moving. So I mean, it is what it is. But I
It
have
is
some
what
other
it is.
questions for you. I have some other questions for you, Glenn. My next question for you is, based off of your interpretations, like I said, you're an older man. I feel like you have more wisdom. Do we talked about social
Supposedly.
media. Yes, sir. We talked about social media. We were talking about the whole thing with the iPhone and everything. What do
Right.
you think about the illusion of options and how it affects men and women?
The illusion of options. You mean as far
Yes,
as
sir.
dating options?
As far as dating options. So, on social media, because we have so much access to so many people, a
Right.
lot of times people feel like, oh, I can say, forget this guy, F this girl, whatever, because, there's 10 billion people on earth. Majority of people have social media. So at this point, who cares? So what is the illusion of options? Or do you want me to break it down for you a little bit? Or, and like I said, how do you think it affects both men and women? Because women, like I said, I'll give you Instagram. On Instagram, women have a bunch of dudes trying to reach out to them. And gentlemen, like I said, I'll give you
Yeah.
guys some free
Constantly.
information. Yeah. So you guys are trying to reach out to the women on Instagram. And this is not all women. Like I said, guys, we're speaking about a select perspective. If it's not you, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. So you guys are trying to DM girls on Instagram, whereas girls are trying to DM their favorite celebrities on Instagram. And I wish I had my sound bar so I could hit one of my effects, because I mean, that's the cold hard truth. So the
Right.
same way you're reaching out to her, she's reaching out to Chris Brown. She's reaching out to Drake, laughing at whatever he posts, whatever he's saying,
Trying
wishing
to be
that he,
seen.
yes, trying to be seen. favorite sports players, whoever. And I mean, they won't tell you that. These are some of the things they don't tell you. They won't tell you
Right,
that, but that may happen. Now, shout out to the ladies who aren't doing that. Either way, you're grown. But I'm saying this is the illusion of options, guys.
right,
The
right,
idea where it's like we think we have access to everybody because social media has made privacy dead. Since privacy is dead, now we feel like we can gain access to everybody. I've had even friends, and I've said this multiple times on my streams. I've had friends that have tried to reach out to women I was dealing with. Well, they're not friends anymore. We're not friends anymore. But I mean, I've had dudes that I know from the past try to reach out with women that I was dealing with on social media, on Instagram, right? Imagine, take for example, imagine you have a friend, good friend, and he's reaching out to the women that you follow on your social media. He doesn't follow these women and he doesn't know them from anywhere, but he's reaching out to those women trying to talk to them in the direct message. And the person you're with is like, hey, do you know this person? I see they follow you and they're reaching out to me. That's the current game that's being played right now. So yeah, like
right,
I said, Glenn, what do you say about the illusion of options that men
right.
and women believe they have? How does
Well,
it affect both parties?
any girl that's even halfway decent looking, even halfway, because there's a lot of guys there's a lot of guys out there that will sit there and hit on a girl who's 700 pounds at a gas station. I mean, it's just going to happen. So,
Yes, sir.
any girl or any female that looks halfway decent looking, we have to all know she is being hit on at the gas station, at McDonald's drive-through. I mean, she's probably being hit on 3, 4 times a day. Hey, beautiful. Hey, gorgeous. Hey, good morning. I mean,
Yes, sir.
they're throwing out seeds throughout her day. The better that she looks, well, then it goes from 4or 5 times to 10 or 12 or all this other shit. So now that's just even aside from social media makes it worse. Me looking back in retrospect, I mean, it's going to be hard, and we're going to have people like, say something weird towards me or this and that. Go, man, you crazy, and this and that and the other. But we didn't have social media and all this shit in the 80s and 90s, and we got along just fine. Beautiful relationships and so forth and so on. Now everybody acts like they can't live without social media. Honestly, if I was still sitting there and trying to, date and all this other stuff, um, I probably would stay away from women that are on social media. If they're not doing it for their job, then why are you sitting there? Why do you need Facebook and Instagram and all this other Snapchat and TikTok and all this other, where you're
Hey,
checking it. We're at the restaurant, you're checking it. We're in the car, you're just sitting there scrolling. Why? I'm not saying I'm trying to monopolize your time where you just need to focus everything on me, but that's a red flag. Loyalty, it's an issue with ethics and loyalty in a relationship. And if they're being tempted day after day, I mean, it'd be like, us trying to go to a strip club. Additionally, you keep going to a strip club as a man, especially on days where you fight with your woman, then
oh,
the odds go up that something bad can happen before you know it, you're in the VIP area. So, there's going to be times where you and your lady are arguing and fighting, and she's all on social media getting approached 10, 12. Now, the women will say, no, this guy's controlling or he's just insecure. No, we're trying to remove this opportunity, away. It's almost like security. I mean, you leave things lying out there without locking them up and turning a light on, things are going to happen. The risk is higher. So I don't really, like it from that sense of it. And I think honestly, if there's a lot of women who just live on social media, one, I would probably look at their page. That's a big thing. Men, we got to start doing. They have
yeah,
private pages. That's a red flag because what are they posting that you're not allowed to see? I mean, why are they on there? Who are they talking to? Two, you
true.
should be able to look at their page. And some of them are clever. They'll have different back pages and second and third accounts. But look at what they're posting. If they're throwed, if their ideas are completely fucked up, then that's who you're going to be meeting when you guys have an argument. They're showing you a screenshot of who they are on their social media, especially red flags. So I mean, that's my whole thing with dating is that's changed. Now we have a whole demographic where we have to now consider social media and what they're posting or what they're saying, and maybe even shy away from women who are addicted to social media. Some people are addicted to their phone; they can't even put it down for 30 seconds.
Question, Glenn. What do you think about have you seen OnlyFans? Have you heard about OnlyFans? What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, of course. I'm not 90 years old, so
Yes, sir.
but OnlyFans, it is what it is. I don't know if anybody doesn't know what OnlyFans is. I mean, it's it borderlines porn, if not
Oh,
direct porn and soft
oh,
porn.
corn, Glenn,
Yeah,
corn.
corn and all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get you flagged or demonetized, but
It's okay.
so it is what it is. That's not any type of lady that, I mean, okay, let's say this. Guys, if you think that you're honestly going to date any of these women that are on that website, no matter how much money you're sending them, you're nuts. That's like spending $1,000 at a strip club. Those women are not going home with you. It's they're selling a fantasy.
Yes,
Same thing
sir.
on OnlyFans. It's like, come on, man. I think that you have socially awkward men, or maybe they're just too insecure or cowardice to walk up to a woman. They have so much shit to say on social media, but then you can't approach a woman and say, hey, how you doing? So then they go to these online things, like OnlyFans, and they sit up there and just for hours and send them money and all this other kind of stuff. It's like, yeah. So if there was a girl that I was dating and she goes, yeah, I'm an OnlyFans person, I would immediately say, hey, I'm sorry. Why put off the inevitable? This is not going to work out. It's something that I'm not going to put up with. It's a choice that you made. I'm not judging, but no, if you're OnlyFans, see you later. You're not a wife type of candidate for me.
Yes, sir. So what do you think about money? Money is, of course, I always say the economy is one of the reasons. It's a multifaceted conversation, but I say
Right.
economy is the reason why women are acting the way they're acting, because economy controls relationships, in my opinion. That's a whole other conversation. But my question to you is, what do you think's the impact of money and status on dating in 2026?
Well, women have always been taught to, date
Friends?
up,
Yes,
date
sir.
up, as you say, never date down. They like doing this. I'm not going to settle for no average man when there's no problem with an average man. What's wrong with a plumber, electrician, and this and that and the other? They all want the millionaire guy, and we know the stats. Kevin Samuels would put it out. It's less than 6% of the United States population that are men that earn over six figures. Only 6%.
Yes,
So
sir.
where are these women? Where are these men that these women are hoping that they're going to find?
Mm.
6%. And
Yeah.
of the 6%, how many of them are already married?
Yeah. Probably
And then
four.
you need to subtract the gay men who don't even want them, or then the ones that they're going to discount because they have kids. So
Yep.
your 6% now drops down into 2%. And where the hell are they?
Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
in the
sir.
meantime, they're crying, "I'm lonely," and where's all the average guys and all this other kind of stuff? It's like, well, you're looking right past them. So I don't know if I kind of it got off of your question there, but
No, no, you did good. You did good.
money,
My question to you is, what do you tell the average man?
the
Uh,
money,
well, expand on that, please.
right?
What do you tell
Well,
the average man who wants to become more than average? What advice would you have for him?
the average man to become more than average, or
Yes.
are we talking about money as far as dating?
Well, both actually. So how you said a lot of women will settle for the average man essentially after they've been trying to date up per se. What would
Right,
you tell the average man? What advice would you have to an average man um, who's trying to build himself up in the future, towards the future?
right. Well, here's something that the women are not going to want to hear, but I'm sure the guys listening are go, damn right. And,
Yes,
and I'm
sir.
going to say something that every woman is going to get pissed right now.
Oh,
That is what we as men do when we're looking at finances versus finances. We've been dating down for decades.
okay.
We've been dating down and dealing with it. Why? Because we don't want to be lonely. We like to have some type of compassion, somebody there in our life, some nice female there. But let's keep it real. These women are not matching our dollars for dollars in the household. Now, some of them are doctors, lawyers, and got good paying jobs, but that money is not coming into the household. Their money is their money that pays their bills and their vehicles and off to their side. We have to still pay both portions of the rent, pay the light bill, pay the food. We go to the grocery store. It's always the man pulling out. Even when you're married or having a relationship, the men are still paying for the dates. They're
Very much
still
so
paying
true.
for the restaurants, even though this woman will sit. So it's, so we have been, if we want to say financially dating down, Men have been putting up with this for decades. We don't have too many women out there that'll sit there and go toe to toe with, okay, rent is how much? It's $2,000 a month. Great, no problem. You pay your thousand, and baby, here's my thousand. Where's that happening? And
Very
if they
few.
do the rent, okay, then how about electricity, water, and all this other shit? They're not openly coming forward. They know that this stuff costs. They know it's not free. They don't even ask, can I see a bill? How
Mm,
much is it? So money has always been an issue. That's why I don't really believe it's the economy, because us as men, we've always been footing. You're always going to have some of these women go, nah, I pay for my man, and he ain't got a want for nothing, and I pay all the bills up in here. Okay,
yeah.
you're one out of 1,000. You are
Yeah.
one out of 1,000, and I'd really love to talk to your man to see if what you're doing is actually true. Because it's one thing to say some shit, but let's really talk to the guys in your life and who's really paying all the bills. But 9 times out of 10, it's us. So we get a little frustrated because we're going into talking about finances. We're going into a partnership which involves money. It's like running a business. And
Yes,
so
sir.
this person wants all the benefits of being a co-owner. You want all the benefits of being a co-owner, but this person's not paying anything.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
not
Okay.
investing anything.
Yes,
And
sir.
so we're sitting up there frustrated because our finances going lower and lower. And now females will go, well, maybe you need to work 2 jobs. No, maybe you need to work one.
Yes, sir.
How about
Yes,
work
sir.
one? Help me out. Shit.
Yes, sir.
Work
Next
a weekend
question.
job, you
Next
know?
question. Next question, Glenn. My next question, right? It relates to this
Are we
question.
getting hated on? Are the
No,
comments, are they coming for us?
no, we're not getting hated on. We might get hated on in the
Are they
future.
shooting me up? Is it shots fired?
No, no, not yet, not yet. But maybe in the future, I'll let you know. In the future, I'll let you know.
Cool.
But my next question to you is, as men, as men living in America, of course, we're referring to the American society. Shout out to America. The world is starting to experience feminism now that we mention it. But as a man living in today's time, how can you, as a man, make your woman or a woman that you're trying to deal with understand the male's perspective?
Right. So that's a really good question. And honestly, I don't think a lot of women have to be open to this conversation, number one.
Yes, sir.
They have to be open to, especially if they bring it up, man, that's great. Then you got a green light, let's go ahead and have it. But most of them, they don't want to go down that road because they know secretly they're not paying shit.
Yes,
So
sir.
why even talk about, you're not going to ask your dad for allowance when you haven't been doing your chores around the house, right? So why talk about how do we improve this relationship or better communicate when you know that you're not paying for shit? So a lot of them just avoid that. But if you have one that actually says, hey, how can we work on this? How do we take it to the next level? How do we, I'm there, I'm your ride or die. Then that's the perfect time that you say, okay, this might be the real one. Let's have this conversation. And you can tell them by even saying it, you know what? You're probably the only one who actually wanted to bring up this topic. And man, I really appreciate it. These are some things that bother men and things that have happened to me on prior relationships. And I don't want them to happen in this relationship. Here's some stuff that's important to me. Here's some stuff that bothers me. And if hopefully they'll be open to that conversation where it doesn't turn into an attack, but it's good constructive stuff. And what do you like and what do you want from me? Then that's really good communication at that point. Then it can turn into a healthy dialogue. And a lot of women, I've had some just say, you know what, you're just 100% real. And I've never had any guy break it down to me. They've said, I've dated a lot of guys or this, that, and the other, who've been married before, whatever the story is. They go,
Yeah.
no one sat here and done this. I said, yes, because they're afraid.
Hmm.
They're afraid. It's not about dominating you. It's that we have been taught if we speak up about money or we're having a little difficulty or we'd like some assistance in the household as well, immediately from the woman sphere, we're not a good provider.
Yep.
We're not doing our job as a man.
Yep.
Asking your wife to go get a job, even a part time job, we are a failure as a household provider. And that's where some of this starts, trickling down and putting too much unnecessary weight on us. And then when the relationship starts going kind of rocky, we're almost ready to walk because, again, it's like, well, dude, I'm paying everything and you're giving me bullshit in the fucking house on top of that. Dude, I'd rather pop, smoke, and leave.
Yes, yes, yes. My next question to you is, how do you how do you think you can, how as a man can I'm trying to see how I can word it properly. Basically, it's like, how as a man can I check my ego to make my woman understand me? So that's the question. How as a man can I check my ego to help my significant other, being my woman? Shout out to everybody else and whatever they do.
Right.
How do I check my ego to make my woman understand me?
Right. Right.
Yes, sir.
What I learned as a guy, you know, the women, okay, there's some problems, they're willing to discuss it. What they don't want to be reminded to, and is starting to throw bills in their face because they're going to see it as a control tactic.
Okay.
Got to be worded just right, brought up at the right moment. You cannot, guys, you cannot dominate your woman in the household. You know, a good gentleman knows his position. She knows your position. You don't need to force your position or dominate her or make her feel unsteady or threatened or like your home situation is at risk all the time. That now she better make you happy, otherwise she's risking being kicked out or something. So it has to be, you're establishing a fair. We can talk, we can argue. You know, I'm not trying to dominate you. I'm not trying to intimidate you, and I don't want to be a daily nitpick. So that needs to be the first thing. But these discussions need to be have silence. You know, closed mouths don't get fed, and all it's going to be is animosity. You're upset because you're spending money. She's not cooperating. She wonders why you're walking around the house moody. It's like, well, because we're behind on fucking bills, you know. And if I say anything, I'm less than a man. So you know, it's that conversation has to be had. You know, but definitely not through domination, intimidation. It can be something just low key. Say, hey, I just wanted to talk to you. You know, kind of household bills.
Yes,
That
sir.
could be a test because if I can't talk to you about household bills, marriage is completely out of the question.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So, hey,
sir.
I just like to, you know, one, I wanted to say, I really think our relationship is just phenomenal. And I've never gotten along with anybody as much as I get along with you. Our conversation and communication is really good. It's something I really like. So, see, I'm setting the table.
Yes, sir.
If we could, just because it's on my mind, and I know it's not a good time to talk about this, I just wanted to lightly touch on maybe some household bills.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
well, what's going on with the household bills? Then you can say, well, here's where I'm at on my finances. Here's how much the household bills are, and don't pull out bills because they start going into it's threatening, and you're trying to check them and bringing out receipts, but just in a roundabout way and say, I want us both to succeed. I think we both deserve to exceed together instead of you're kind of up here and I'm supporting what you're doing. So maybe we can kind of talk about, and this is what worked for me. I want to view you as an equal. See, that already goes into the mindset like, okay, is he not viewing me as an equal? No, motherfucker, I'm not viewing you as an equal. I'm paying all the shit in the fucking house. I'm viewing you as a dependent, but I'm keeping my mouth shut because I don't want drama in the fucking household. So no, I don't see you as an equal
Yes,
inside.
sir.
So
Yes.
that's the problem. I want to view us. I want us to be equal in every way. And when I'm
Okay.
paying all the bills, I'm almost feeling like I have a grown daughter or I'm a dependent. I don't want to view you as a dependent. That's not sexy. Equal. We're a team. We're training. We're going together. So I think if you take maybe that approach, that just worked for me. You guys do what you want to do, but I know if you do hardball tactics on a female, you're going to lose her. Even if she's acting like she's not affected, she is affected. She's going to get on the phone with her mama. She's going to get pissed off, and she's going to start saying, "Oh fuck, the household situation seems a little shaky.
Hmm.
I need to now look for a backup plan because this motherfucker's tripping."
Yes, sir. And
That's
yes, gentlemen, one thing you guys need to know.
you're going to spark cheating and exiting. But
Yes,
we
sir.
also can't sit here in silence and not talk about help and assistance and being equal in the household. I don't care if it's a millionaire. I think the girl that I'm dating still should do something. You can't just sit around the house all day. I don't care. Volunteer at the hospital. Go read books to blind children. You're not just going to lay out on the fucking couch all day long. You need to do something.
Yeah, you got to do something productive. Yeah,
Got
I
to do
mean,
something.
I'm of the opinion that a lot of relationships end due to lack of communication and or miscommunication. A lot of times people don't understand each other and don't take the time to learn to understand each other. But Glenn, we had a question from somebody. Somebody said, how does he feel about the passport bros who say they are finding what they want in foreign women? Wouldn't you be seen as abandoning your culture? And if you have kids, thinning your bloodline?
Wow, going into thinning the bloodline, that's deep. So, uh, yeah, I think most of our bloodlines are pretty thin already. If we go back to the start of time in history, so,
Yes,
but
sir.
passport bros, two things there. I've never done that. I've never had to go. Not that I'm special, but again, if you got the gift for gab, I mean, I don't have to fly to another country to get a girlfriend or a date. And if some guys feel that they have to, maybe it's fun. Some of that stuff is almost like borderline, seems like prostitution in a way. I don't know,
Oh,
where they're giving money to the family. They're buying them this and buying them a cow, and they're sending money, and all of a sudden they get a girlfriend for the weekend or a week or so. So some of that seems a little crazy. Not everyone's doing that. I understand. Okay, great. I think that you can definitely find enough quality women in the United States. I mean, the women here are hot. You don't need to sit there and go to the Philippines. You don't need to go to Ukraine. You don't need to go to all these. There is some freaking hot ass women in the United States, and it doesn't matter black, white, Hispanic, Asian. We
yes,
got
sir.
some of the best looking women over here, some of the best hardworking women, and so forth and so on. So I just think there's a disconnect with the communication is the problem, but they're here, and whatever they're bringing to the table, probably maybe some of their upbringing. But yeah, passport bros, I'm not really concerned about thinning the bloodline, but I'm more concerned, why do you feel like you have to leave your entire country?
Yes, yes,
I mean,
sir.
you probably haven't dated people in a different state, so why in the hell are we going to Malaysia, when if you aren't finding any quality women in Texas, well then go try, I don't know, Atlanta, go try LA, go try something, especially with social media. Come on. How are you not meeting women in the United States of America? Why do you have to go fly, way over, to these other countries? I don't get that. I don't. And
Okay,
then
okay.
dating is going to be, you don't know what they're doing while you're over here. They don't know what you're doing while you're over here. You have mass areas of separation. You can't just live over there. You got immigration issues and so forth. So it seems like it's kind of a limited situation. Then you don't know, are these girls trying to start off as your boyfriend or girlfriend, and then all of a sudden they want to get married because they want to be U.S. citizens. So you really don't know if that's their motive behind. Well, then you're not really meeting the real them, because they're trying to be a citizen, although they're deny it. Who doesn't want to be a citizen in the United States of America when you're
Very
from
true.
Malaysia or the Philippines? Come on, man.
Very true. Very true.
So,
All right, good answer.
I need somebody here that can help me, not in Malaysia or the
Okay.
Philippines. If I'm sick, I need some girl down the street to bring me chicken noodle soup. I don't need a girlfriend in the Philippines or Africa. I need somebody close by. So I don't believe in all of that.
Yes,
That's
sir.
just my personal thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I mean,
Unless you,
everybody.
unless you're a guy that you've burned through all these women in your city, and you mistreated all these women, and you've been on all these dating apps and everybody knows you. Maybe that's why they're running to a different country, because it had blown up the area, to where all the girls know them and they can't get a date. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's got to be something behind that. Um, why are they going to a different country, especially when they look halfway decent? Why are they pulling women here?
I mean, it's probably social media. Like I said, social media, I'm of the opinion, has messed up the minds of the masses. Like people are,
Right.
in my personal opinion, people are disassociated from reality now. Like, you'll come to people, like some people act as if life's a video game. And I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, but a lot of things that, like I said, I mean, social media is the equalizer, right? So a lot of things that you see on social media, first off, are not even real. They're a perspective of a perspective. And I say that a lot on my Clout and Consequences podcast. Nuance matters. So you'll see, like we talked about, filters all the time. You'll see people taking things out of context, recording people, and then you don't know the full story until the full story is shown to you. But what you're seeing on social media is always a perspective of perspective. So I think that's what it comes down to. So you're seeing
It is.
all the positives, because majority of the time people either post extreme positives or extreme negatives. So most of the time when it comes to other places, you're going to see the positives, but you won't see the negatives that occur in said places,
That's
and
exactly
vice
right.
versa. Yeah, and vice versa. My
That's
next
exactly
question.
right.
Yes.
You're only seeing them on their best day, and it's crafted that way that they're always in. Every day is fantastic. Hey, I'm out here at the beach, everyone. It's just so awesome. I'm out here at the
Yep.
pier, got my mark. It's always, you'll never see a social media post with these people. Man, today I'm sick.
Yep.
I am sick. I got 104 fever. I don't feel good with no makeup on, or oh man, it's always, every day is a beautiful day. I'm successful. They're driving cars that they rent on Turo. They got, look at my Ferrari, look at my Mercedes. It's like, you ain't got no pink slip.
Yep.
It ain't yours.
Yes,
Look at
sir.
my house. Well, you paying, you renting it, you paying a house note, you don't own the deed yet. So I mean, who can't do that? So it's a lot of, they're selling this fantasy, like advertisement of themselves, basically. That's why, I would like to just meet somebody in person, because
Yes,
you're
sir.
catching them right there in front of you in their natural habitat, boom, they're not hiding behind filters and so forth.
Yeah, so speaking of filters and fakeness and all, all the bullshit we see on social media. My next question is you just spoke about how a lot of these men are going to other countries and they're getting finessed into getting, whoever they're going to that country to see, that green card status or that
Right.
citizenship status. Do you think that love is losing value or just evolving currently in 2026?
I mean, it seems like, I don't think love is evolving. I think the younger generation, and even some of the people in my age group, just because, like I said, social media, you're not having these conversations at a coffee shop, going out for some wine, and having these long at a jazz bar and things of that. Those things are not taking place. Everyone's texting, everyone's on Twitter. So you're losing the endorphins and the electricity that's taking place at the dinner table or at the bar or at the club or whatever. Now it seems very impersonal through text messages and Snapchat and so forth and so on. So it has turned into almost a transactional thing with a lot of women.
Hmm.
It doesn't seem like being a true interest. Hey, if you want to go out to a baseball cage or a miniature golfing, or yeah, we can go hiking or bike riding or fishing or this and that. It's nowadays a lot of women. If you mention anything outdoor, they mistake that into be that you're broke, you don't have money. It's like, no, I just don't want to sit up here and be buying bags and going to Ruth Chris 5 nights a week. I mean, so, but a lot of women, I think they could, I mean, I can't speak on men because I don't date men. So all I can speak, it sounds like I'm women, women, women. Well, that's who I date. So,
Yes,
but
sir.
it seems like that they have become disinterested in these dates where it's activities, because someone has told them that's a broke man. That's
Yeah.
he needs to show his love for you off of a bag, a car note, and steak and lobster dinners. If it's a movie and popcorn and Chili's and chit chat for 3 hours. I mean, man, I've had so many good conversations talking to girls on the first, second date. 3 hours at Chili's, 4 hours at fucking whatever. And I mean, man, you get their whole life story from where were you born to tell me about your parents. And those days are kind of done. They do a quick little interview process online, a quick little meet and greet. Great, it's impersonal,
Yes,
but
sir.
these emotional connection opportunity dates, I'll call them, seem to be like withering away because everyone wants to get right to the point. You look great, you got a six pack, you got six-figure income, let's go out. If
Yes,
you don't,
sir.
you buy, swipe left. So, and then the same women will say, where are all the quality guys? Well, the quality guys like doing all kinds of activities. We like doing, miniature golfing, surfing, motorcycle riding, dune buggy riding, going for trips. We like this, that, and the other. A lot of the stuff they'll say, well, aside from the trips, they're all about that. But any other stuff, yeah, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to do this. That sounds like a low price a date. I'm not going to do that. I think this motherfucker's broke. And no, he's trying to connect with you on different types of dates other than just restaurant, 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 or shopping, shopping, shopping. And so I think some of the females are turning off from these activity style dates.
Mm.
That seems, I don't know a man that would not want to take a girl to go miniature golfing or go kart driving,
Yeah.
uh, or go to the batting cage or go see a movie. There's not a man alive that would ever say, no, I would never take a girl to all those places. No, it's the women that are driving us away from those fun things So now we have to do those either A on our own, or we got to go call our buddies to go do that shit, because the girls don't want to do any of that. They want to walk around with their lace up and their red stilettos on, and
Red
they want
bottoms.
to sit at Ruth Chris, and after Ruth Chris they want to go shopping, and after that take them home.
Yep.
Shit ain't fun.
At all. Yeah. Spending money is not fun, man. You'll spend so
So
much
that's
money.
what's changing. That's what's
Man.
changing. And it's pretty sad. I've been on dates that you go on a date and it go great. We go to Perry's or Ruth Chris, go on a little shopping thing.
Yep.
The date's over. Then after I drop her off, what do? I'll call my buddies to go have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm actually going with them to go have fun. And it's like, well, what happened? Well, you don't want to have fun. You want to have this money, financial, over the top. I mean, people used to go for Ruth Chris when they're getting married. It's engagement and birthdays and special occasions and anniversaries. These broads want to go to Ruth Chris just because it's Monday night.
Yeah. Or
Just,
what is it? Happy hour. Happy hour. They'll go for the
I mean,
happy
they want
hour.
to go have a $300 meal just because. It's like, well, why does our first date have to be a $500 meal? I don't get it.
Yeah,
We're trying to
no.
see if this works out. I mean, that's what's crazy about it. Now, a lot of them will say, well, the first date doesn't have to be a $500 meal at Ruth Chris. Okay, well then let me test you. Let me
Yeah.
call you up and say, do you want to meet at Chili's? They'll go,
Yeah.
hell no. You got to take me someplace,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right?
So my next
So,
question to
so
you.
they're calling the shots how this goes, and then they're upset because us guys are saying, you know what? They go, where's all the men, and why aren't they approaching? Because we are sick of the $300 and $500 threshold dates.
Yeah.
We don't
No,
want
you're
to do
right.
it. And if you don't work out, I got to take some broad on a date on Monday. Then I got to take another one out on Wednesday because I'm searching and fishing and trying to make shit happen. Here's
Yeah.
another one on Friday. I'm spending $1,500 a week just trying to find somebody to date. You know what I mean? Who can
And
keep
that's not including bills.
that?
That's not
No.
including bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little grip. That's a little
Then they
grip.
go, where's all the guys? It's like, you're costing us too much to date. And then they'll say, well, you shouldn't be dating unless you got, no, no,
Yeah, no,
no.
it's not
I
financially smart.
absolutely am entitled to find someone to love and enjoy life with. I am entitled, and I should not have to go broke or take out a loan, even though I work full time and I'm financially okay. I should not have to spend $300 to $500 taking some lady out on a first fucking date.
To get a
That's
kiss,
crazy.
to get a hug at the end and say thanks for the free meal. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, and I don't even expect anything, I mean, just because I spent that money, but it's just like, wow, they're totally, you get them on the phone nowadays and go, hey, what do you want to do? What kind of food do you like? Dude, they're going to start talking about, yeah, I like sushi. I like Ruth Chris. I like this. They're going to name all the hot spots. And here's,
Yeah.
and here's the thing that I've noticed. Well, how
What's
come you
up?
don't go to those spots with your girlfriends?
Good question.
I
Good question.
mean, when you go have lunch by yourself, or you're with your whole group of girls, why aren't you guys going and having drinks and hors d'oeuvres at Ruth Chris?
Very true. Very true.
No, at that point, it's okay to go to Applebee's and TGI Fridays and go, you're right, and go have those little cheap drinks and all that other kind of stuff. So it's really, it seems like a double standard that they're okay to have, go on these other basic dates. But if there's a man involved, oh, fuck, we got to go Caesar's Palace for $500 a night.
Yes,
Yeah, but
sir.
when you stay with your homegirl down in San Antonio, you're okay with Motel 6 or Holiday Inn.
Yes,
So
sir.
it absolutely is two different standards, and we're just trying to, I guess, catch on to the game. And now it's switching where men are calling them out,
Yeah.
and we're
All
just
right.
going, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. I'm not paying $500 to date you.
All right, Glenn. So earlier, we like what you're saying here. Earlier, we
Do
asked
we?
about
Who likes it?
a
Who
couple
likes
people.
it?
A couple people. We have a couple people that
Do we have?
responded.
Do we have anybody agree? One person agrees.
There we go. So like I said, Glenn, we asked you earlier about how can you communicate with your woman. My main thing that I wanted to ask you now is how do you provide a sense of emotional safety for your significant other for both
Right.
parties, right? Not just as a man to his woman, but also like what can women do? Because there's always a miscommunication, like I said earlier, and a misconception whenever women and men try to talk to each other, because both parties play both sides. I'm of the opinion both parties manipulate each other. So women,
Yeah.
If you talk too harshly to a woman, she'll say, "Don't yell at me." If you talk too aggressively, she'll say, "I'm a woman, you're being too rough." How can a guy talk to a woman and then vice versa with a woman? Like I said, women sometimes don't take accountability. How do we come to a general consensus and meet in the middle?
Yeah, that's a really good thing, and I think that's the whole. Once you're in a relationship, or even sometimes people are just dating, and these conversations come up, but definitely in a relationship, women want to feel safe.
Mm.
They want to feel secure. And the biggest mistakes that we can do, number one, a man should never raise their voice and scream at a female.
Yes,
Ever.
sir. Yes,
We
sir.
we move differently as men.
Yes,
We
sir.
can be pissed off. They can see that we're pissed off. And I think the expression is, words are silver, but silence is golden.
Woo.
And when we sit there, we make our point. We don't need to keep rambling on like females ourselves. They know where we stand. They know what it's all about. But, you can have a couple choice words. It definitely get in your say so. But we never want to, start yelling and screaming at females. They're going to remember that. It traumatizes them. And also, it makes you look like a female yourself. They don't really like that. Women gravitate towards strong men and this and that, the alpha protector and all this other kind of stuff, not when you start acting like a female. So it's the yelling and the screaming and the low, all this other kind of stuff. One thing you never want to do is threaten that you are going to leave, or that you're going to kick them out.
Yes,
That
sir.
damages the relationship for months and years to come. They will remember that till the cows come home. Anytime they feel that you are threatening to leave, to pack, or in fact, you are the leaver, you are the packer, you are these grandiose, all right, well, I'm packing, I got my car packed. You're trying to manipulate her into caving on a principle that she's on, or agreeing with you, or doing things your way by threatening her safety, security, her household, and her well-being. That's frightening to a female. And
Yes, sir.
so now she may not say anything to you that night, but she's regretting the moves that you're making. That's not cool. It's almost like you're bullying her down in the household, bringing up bills in a certain way, and then unpacking, I'm leaving. So we go down this conversation. Those are the things not to do. We're not going to sit there and yell and scream. We're not going to bully them down. We're not going to be pointing in their face. And you got to do de-escalation techniques even in the household. That stuff's not just for the workplace where we're doing management of aggressive behavior and de-escalation techniques. You also have to do it the household. Let her speak. She's the woman of the house. This is who you chose. So it shouldn't be like you guys are just fighting and arguing and so forth and so on, but those would be the big things right off the bat when you're talking, and try to have a turn-based conversation, that you're actively listening. You're not rolling your eyes. You're not, oh my God. And oh, see, there you go again, because now you're minimizing what she's saying. You're not listening because you're trying to deflect and do all this other type of stuff. So when she gets it all out, say, okay, I'd like to go ahead and respond. And as you're responding calmly to her points, yep, she'll probably interrupt. And that's when you can say calmly, okay, hold on. You spoke. I didn't interrupt you whatsoever. I'd like kind of the same respect, because we have to hear each other out if we're going to make this work. It
Yes,
can't
sir.
be one person dominating the conversation and so forth. And so if you do that, this is baby steps. You'll see that she feels more safe and secure having these conversations, because you're not throwing trash in her face. You're not screaming and yelling. You're not threatening you're packing or leaving. You're going to throw her out. You're starting to almost train her. And maybe that comes from upbringing. You might have to train each other. How can we have discussions without slamming doors, screaming, throwing remote controls across the room, packing, leaving, throwing shit out the window? That is just destructive. It is toxic. And so it has
Mm.
to start with some ground rules. Now, if you're dealing with somebody who just throwed all the time, you can give it
Come
a
off.
couple attempts, and yeah, honestly, it might be time to roll if he or she is not going to change.
Yes, sir. All right, Glenn. Like I said, this man has a lot that he has to say. That's why I chose to bring him on here, man. My
We're on
final
a
question.
podcast.
Yes, sir. My final question for you, man. My final
Oh
question for
fuck!
you.
Final question. That means it's coming
Yes,
to an
sir.
end.
Yes, sir. I have another stream I have to do. I got my other show. I have Cloud and Consequences to pass on. Yes, sir. And I got to still make it to the gym. The gym closes at 11. So my
The
final
gym.
question, the
Yeah, yeah.
gym.
You're gonna be
Yeah.
at McDonald's. Don't lie to your viewers. Come on.
I'm gonna be at the gym, man. I'm gonna be at the gym. But yeah, my final question to you is, Are people in 2026 dating for love or validation? Tell us your thoughts.
I think they want to date for love. I mean, validation would be something like these movie stars do. You know, so and so wants to date Justin Bieber for status and all this. I think that everyone is dating for love. I really do, because they feel a yearning. They know what family is all about. They
Mhm.
can feel that good stuff when they're around their family. You know, so they're dating for love. I think the problem is they don't know how to communicate what they want, and they self sabotage. They are self sabotaging their relationships right now, and probably all the other prior ones, you know, with the comments that they're making, things that they're doing, the packing, the yelling, the screaming, and all this other shit. So they want love, but they don't know how to cultivate it out of this person. And you may have to, you're kind of helping each other go down this path together. You've chosen each other to go down this path. But man, if you're not learning anything from him and you're not learning anything from her, it's going to be really bumpy, and no one's ever going to find these solutions. So yeah, they need love, they want love, but a lot of them don't know how to get to that, you know, work through these things. They don't have the experience.
Yes,
They
sir.
want things now. They think it's social media. So you should just love me. You should do everything for me immediately. You should just trust me just because. It's like, no, it that takes time, and you got to work on that, you know. And they don't want to. If you don't give them what they want fast enough, swipe left, you're out of there. It's like people working at a job nowadays that after 30 days, they're tired of working at the company. They're gone.
True.
They,
Very true.
the young people nowadays, they go, I'm not going to stay at a job for 5 years. Maybe my grandma did that. My daddy did that. Shit, I ain't going to be working for no Tesla or no General Motors for 5 or 6 years. You know, 6 months is, you know, about 6 months is good to go. And then I'm looking at my vacation in about 6 months. And I'm going to roll out, maybe go stay in the Bahamas. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So they have a weird mindset, whether it's at work or even in a relationship.
Yes, sir.
They're looking for raises in 30 days and vacations in 6 months. And the same shit applies to the relationships. You know, they want all the awards and accolades and the love. And
Mhm.
they're putting very little into that other person. Just showing up and being present with a hug and a kiss and saying I love you. That's not really taking care of that person. That's not fulfilling everything that needs to be done in a relationship to cultivate it. Where's the fertilizer? Where's the water? Where's the sunlight?
You have to plant the seed and grow the seed to a tree, people. Relationships are about growth, okay? It's
Right.
about
Well, a lot of them are like, why aren't you already successful when I came across you? What's your problem?
I'm
It's like,
building.
well, I'm a build in progress. Oh, I don't want build in progress. I want an instant millionaire, you know, with a six pack and a Ferrari, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So our final
But they're
message,
always
right?
lonely. They have these standards, and then you get these girls, and it goes, okay, so you have these list of standards. Let me ask you a question. Have you found that guy yet? No. You're still lonely from last year and the year before and the year before that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
very
is
much
it your
so too.
list or is it the guys or what is it?
Very, very good question. Very good question. All right, final message. My final message that I want you to give your opinion on is what do you think about when it comes to relationships between men and women? How can we find more, or how can we work towards more intentional relationships versus temporary attention from random partners?
I think a lot of that would be social media,
Hmm.
because social media is just so quick to swipe left and right. You're reading a bullshit bio. You're
Hmm.
seeing touched up photos. It's just, I mean, for the most part, fake. And even you got people catfishing on us. So we need to, you know, if my thing and what I would tell people to do is just go back to the basics, and that is start approaching people in person. There is beautiful girls out there, but we like to hide behind our phone and we like to go online because we can't handle rejection. And so if they say something slick, we just go, all right, block, delete, get out of here. No, no, you know, I didn't make a fool out of myself and this, that, and the other. We're so afraid. And, you know, I mean, that's why you don't need these big fancy lines. Just go up and, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Oh, my name's Melissa. Hey, I'm Glenn. Pleased to meet you. And it's like, okay, great. A couple little conversation strokes and go from there. But we got to go back to the basics of approaching people in person, getting that connection, feeling that electricity. You're going to hear a bunch of no's, maybe 10, maybe 15, until you get the one. And there you go. Then when you find
Amen.
that one, treat that person very nicely, you know, and grow together.
Yes, sir.
All you
Yes,
can
sir.
do.
All right. Well, I mean, thank you, Glenn. You know, we got to thank Glenn for coming on the show. I wish we had the applause, but imagine we did applause, man. Round of applause for Glenn coming
All
on the
right.
show.
It was
sharing your
fun.
perspective. Yes, sir. You shared your perspective with us today. Real conversations don't happen like this enough, and we appreciate you for keeping it honest,
Yeah.
and giving your insight on what men really think in today's dating world. We respect your time, your transparency, and your energy. You added to this episode. Like I said, we hope to have you again. And everybody watching, if this episode gave you something to think about, we appreciate you rocking with us.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Past that, thank you everybody for tuning in, and shout out to everybody watching the playback. You guys
Right.
let us know what you think on the comment section. Glenn, I'm gonna end the stream.
Okay, cool. Have a
Yes,
good
sir.
evening, guys.
Yes, sir. Take care.